Welcome to Revenza Tales, where uncut stories of betrayal and victory punch you in the heart. Smash subscribe, ring the bell, and share with friends who live for a comeback. Think you're planning your ultimate engagement party, only to have your family sabotage it for their golden child. How far would you go to reclaim your moment? Hold tight for a story of love, lies, and fighting for your worth. I'm Noelle, a 29-year-old graphic designer in a snug suburban town just outside Seattle. Evergreens stretch high above quiet streets, neighbors greet from porches, and rain and cedar scent the air. I've spent years constructing a life I'm proud to call my own, stringing together freelance work and a sense of self my family never encouraged. I was the kid who blended into the background, always second to my younger sister, Abigail. My mother, a nurse with a talent for maintaining appearances, and my father, an accountant with a love of order, doted on Abigail, their golden girl.
Me?
I was the self-sufficient one, code for figure it out yourself. But I did, scrapping together design on my own, making late nights pay off as a successful career. By the time I met Oliver, my solid fiancé, I began to think I was worth more than scraps of affection. It was a rainy morning, and I was abuzz with excitement, making final arrangements for our engagement party. Oliver and I had been together 4 years, and this party was our time, a celebration of the life we were creating. We'd rented the community center, selected cedar plank salmon from a neighborhood caterer, and created invitations with my own design, twirling evergreens beneath a starry sky. It was all coming together, a perfect instant in our Seattle suburb. Then my phone rang. It was Mom, her tone tight, already irritated. "Noelle, you have to call off your engagement party." I stalled, my coffee cup suspended midair.
What?
"Mom, are you joking?" My heart pounded, hoping this was a bad joke. "No joke," she snapped. "Abigail just got promoted at her marketing firm. We're throwing her a party the same day. Same guests, different event, just reschedule." I felt the air sucked out of the room, my chest tightening. Abigail, 4 years younger and always the star, was stealing my moment again. "Mom, this is my engagement. I've been planning it for months. I'm not canceling for Abigail's promotion." My voice trembled, but I stood firm. "Don't be selfish, Noelle," she said, her voice cold, cutting as an icy wind. "This is ginormous for Abigail. Have your little party some other time."
Little party?
My blood raced, all those years of being put on the sidelines flooding back. "No way, Mom, this is about Oliver and me."
I'm not moving.
Her voice rose to that ear-piercing shriek that left me ringing. I didn't wait to hear the lecture. I hung up, trembling hands setting the phone on the table. I collapsed onto the couch, memories washing over me like a Puget Sound wave. My 16th birthday, when my parents had forgotten until Grandma phoned to wish me well. They scrambled, grabbing a discount grocery store cake and a $20 gift card, declaring it a celebration. Abigail's 13th birthday, months later, was a 5-day extravaganza. Custom cake, DJ, rented bounce house. I was expected to smile and clap, always the supporting act in her spotlight. Every milestone, graduations, school plays, even science fair ribbons, was Abigail's to shine. I got pats on the head. "Good job, Noelle, you're so responsible." Oliver walked in, his teacher's satchel slung over his shoulder, his brown eyes catching my distress. He dropped the bag, sitting beside me. "Noelle, what's wrong?" His voice was calm, stabilizing me like the evergreens outside. I told him everything. Mom's call, her insistence on canceling, Abigail's promotion being more important. As I spoke, old wounds came to the surface, the years of being overlooked. Oliver's jaw clenched, but he listened, his hand warm on mine. "That's crazy," he said when I'd finished. "We're not canceling anything." "I know," I said, my voice cracking. "But why can't they ever pick me, once?" The question hung there, one that I'd posed to myself 1,000 times. "Because they don't view you the way I do," Oliver replied forcefully. "But I choose you, Noelle, forever." His words were a lifeline, yanking me back from uncertainty. I could muster a tiny smile, leaning against him. "You're why I'm doing this," I whispered. "You make me feel like I'm enough." We spent the evening double-checking our preparations, invites, decor, the playlist with our favorite indie bands. As I fell asleep, Oliver's arm wrapped around me, I attempted to push my family drama out of my head. This was my time, and I wasn't going to let them spoil it. The next day, I woke up ready to concentrate on the engagement party. I had a mile-long to-do list, checking wildflower centerpieces, testing the sound system at the community center, sending out final RSVPs. Sipping coffee, checking off items, my phone vibrated, a text from my cousin Leah.
Hey Noelle, you and Oliver good? Heard you two broke up. My stomach fell.
Broke up? I responded quickly, fingers flying.
What?
No way, we're good. Where did you hear that? Her response came quickly. Weird, Aunt Everly said your mom said the engagement is off. I gazed at the screen, my heart pounding. This was not Mom prodding me to call off the engagement, this was sabotage. I phoned Leah straight away.
What's going on? I demanded.
I don't know, Noelle, she replied, sounding perplexed. Aunt Everly phoned last night, informed her that you and Oliver fought terribly and broke off the engagement. She suggested we go to Abigail's promotion party instead. I felt punched, the deception cutting deep. Leah, that is a lie, we are still engaged, and the party's on. Mom asked me to cancel for Abigail's event, but I wouldn't do it. My voice trembled with rage and pain. Oh, Noelle, I'm so sorry, Leah said.
I did not know.
I spent the following hour on the phone with her, reconstructing the chaos. Mom had called every single relative on our guest list, spinning a tale that Oliver and I had blown up, and I was too proud to admit it. She diverted everyone to Abigail's party in an upscale downtown Seattle hotel. She wasn't only giving Abigail preference, she was sacrificing my joy to support my sisters. I'm taking care of this, I informed Leah, holding the phone. Can you get the word out that the engagement's still on? 100%, she replied, her tone firm. I'll begin calling folks now. I hung up, my thoughts in an uproar, the bite of Mom's lies cutting like a knife. Oliver found me on the couch an hour later, my laptop open to our guest list.
Noelle, what's wrong? He asked, his face creasing with worry.
I told him everything. Mom's lies, the calls to our relatives, the redirection to Abigail's party.
His eyes darkened with anger.
That's it, he said. We're done with them, your parents, Abigail, all of them. I nodded, but cutting off my family, even after this, made my chest ache. They'd hurt me, but they were my family. Let's sort this out first, I said. We need to get everyone on the same page. Oliver tightened his grip on my hand.
Okay, where do we begin?
We launched into damage control, emailing, calling, posting a heartfelt message on social media. Oliver and I are over the moon for our engagement party. News of a split is untrue. Let's celebrate our love with you. It was humiliating, explaining repeatedly that we were still together, still celebrating. My throat was hoarse from speaking, my eyes smoldered with screens by midnight.
Oliver swept me into his arms.
We did it, Noelle, it's going to be okay. I wanted to trust him, but inside, I knew this was only the beginning. Mom's betrayal opened up old wounds. Every time I was pushed away, every time Abigail's light was brighter than mine. I wasn't fighting for just my engagement party, I was fighting for my position in life. The next morning, I went to see Aunt Everly, my father's sister, who had a little bakery in town. She'd always treated me nicely, sneaking me extra cookies as a child when Mom wasn't around. I thought a face-to-face invitation to the engagement party would shake Mom's fibs. When I walked up to her house, the scent of freshly baked bread coming from her kitchen, I could hear voices inside the living room. I was going to yell out, but Aunt Everly's words froze me. I stood at Aunt Everly's doorstep, her words cutting at me like a Seattle gale. I can't believe Noelle would call off her own engagement party just to spite Abigail, so childish. Leah joined in, her voice biting and definite.
I know, right?
Poor Abigail, working so hard for the promotion, and Noelle trying to steal her thunder. My heart fell, the ground dropping away beneath me. Leah and I used to braid one another's hair, exchange secrets during family barbecues. She was my best cousin. Her betrayal stung deeper than I had anticipated. I entered into the living room, my voice firm despite the pain.
Is that how you perceive me?
They leapt, faces reddening as if they'd been caught pilfering. Aunt Everly regained composure first, pasting on a smile. Noelle, darling, we didn't hear you arrive. Obviously, I said, my voice as brittle as shattered glass. I stopped by to ask you to my engagement party, but it appears you've already made up your mind that I'm the bad guy. Leah squirmed, looking away, her voice barely audible.
Noelle, we didn't mean.
Save it, I interrupted her, my temper flaring.
What did Mom say, exactly?
For an hour, I sat on Everly's ratty couch, the scent of fresh bread thick in the air, as they poured out Mom's convoluted story. It seems I had a fit when I learned about Abigail's promotion, insisting she call off her party. When Abigail wouldn't, I supposedly broke off my engagement in a fit of spite, telling her I preferred to remain single than to share the spotlight. It was a falsehood so blatant it left me breathless, every word a new hurt. That's not true, I told her, my anger trembling in my voice. Mom called me, insisting I call off my engagement party for Abigail's last-minute bash. I told her no, and now she's telling lies to ruin me. I stripped it all bare, the birthdays forgotten, the comparisons that never ended, the years of feeling I wasn't enough. My 16th birthday with a discounted cake, while Abigail's 13th received a bounce house and DJ. My high school art exhibit, where I took first prize, but they took off early for Abigail's dance recital. All of my milestones eclipsed by her golden aura. By the time I was done, Aunt Everly's eyes were brimming with tears, her hand extended to mine. Oh, Noelle, we never knew, we should have asked questions. Leah nodded, her face red with shame, her voice little more than a whisper. I'm sorry, Noelle, I just thought what I heard. I breathed deeply, attempting to find balance, the truth in their words heavy but their remorse genuine. Thank you for that, but I need your assistance now. The engagement party's still taking place. Can you let everyone know? Without a doubt, Aunt Everly replied, standing firm, her baker's hands holding mine.
We'll set this straight. Just let it be for now.
Leah nodded, her gaze locking onto mine for the first time.
I'll call everybody I know, Noelle, I swear.
Stepping out of Everly's place, the Seattle rain splashing my face, my feelings were a naughty mix. Anger at Mom's deceptions, hurt that my family so readily believed the worst, but a spark of hope that the truth was penetrating. Everly's assurance was a sweet triumph, but I couldn't help the sadness of realization that my own mom had attempted to destroy my joy. I revealed all to Oliver when we were back home, my voice breaking as I explained Everly and Leah's statements. He hugged me tight, his satchel as a teacher still on his shoulders. They're mistaken about you, Noelle, and we're going to show them. We sat the rest of the evening making a list of every relative and friend invited to our guest list. I wrote out a group email, straightforward and blunt. Oliver and I are overjoyed for our engagement party. Rumors about a breakup are not true. Join us to celebrate us at the community center this Saturday. We phoned cousins, aunts, uncles, even old high school acquaintances, refuting Mom's lies one at a time. Leah delivered, texting me messages as she contacted her side of the family. Some relatives were doubtful, some were sorry, but the majority assured they'd be there. Every RSVP was a block in a wall I was constructing to safeguard our moment. But the worry persisted. What if Mom's sabotage paid off? What if her lies took hold, and nobody appeared? The day of the engagement party, my belly knotted with anxiety as Oliver and I made the drive to the community center. The Seattle sky was drizzly gray, rain pocking the windshield, echoing my anxiety.
What if the hall is empty?
I breathed quietly, my fingers clenched on the wildflower centerpiece I'd created. Oliver gave my hand a gentle squeeze, his tone calm. They'll show up, Noelle, you're worth showing up for. We pushed through the community center doors, and I steeled myself for disappointment. But what I saw stole my breath. The hallway came alive with people. Smiling faces, laughter, the soft light of string lights we'd put up the previous night. Fresh wildflowers and the scent of cedar plank grilled salmon from the caterer filled the air. Relatives who hadn't been seen in years stood among our friends, their voices mingling with our indie playlist. My heart overflowed, the sting of tears in my eyes. I didn't think you guys would come, I said, my breath catching as I stood in the doorway. My dad's brother, Uncle Tom, patted Oliver on the back, his face spreading wide with a grin. Of course we came, kid. Those gossip stories about you two breaking up?
Total BS. Looks like they fired back.
I laughed, the burden of the last week clearing like fog off Puget Sound.
Guess they did.
As Oliver and I waded through the throng, receiving hugs and congratulations, I spotted Mom, Dad, and Abigail nowhere to be seen. No calls, no texts, not even a reluctant congrats. Instead of hurt, I felt relief, like a cloud separating to allow sunlight in. The fact that they were absent meant that I could breathe, could relish this moment without their shadow. Oliver's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, pulled me into warm hugs, their faces beaming. We're so proud of you, Noelle, his mom whispered. You're already our daughter. Their kindness wrapped around me like a blanket, filling the holes my own family had left. The party was in full swing when a cheer erupted from the dance floor. There was Grandma, 80 years young, spinning in the middle, flaunting moves she referred to as her jitterbug special. Come on, you young'uns, she invited, her eyes glinting beneath the string of lights. Let's see what you've got. The room erupted, and before long, everybody was dancing. Children, great-aunts, even bookish cousins, converting the floor into happy mayhem. As I mingled around, I caught bits of gossip, rumors about Mom's fibs coming apart.
Did you hear?
She informed everyone that Noelle canceled the engagement, but look at the size of this crowd. Abigail's half-empty party, I heard, serves them right. I didn't rub it in, but the words ignited a quiet satisfaction. Mom's sabotage plan had been thwarted, and the truth was propagating faster than her deceptions. I met Leia's gaze from across the room, and she gave a small, apologetic smile. I nodded back, a truce forming. We'd rebuild, but I'd never forget how easily she doubted me. Oliver pulled me onto the dance floor, spinning me to our favorite song, his laughter warm against my ear. This is our night, Noelle, he said.
No one can take it away.
I leaned into him, the music and crowd fading, my heart full for the first time in weeks. But as the evening progressed, I knew this wasn't over. Mom and Abigail wouldn't let this pass quietly. Can you even believe Noelle's mom attempted to cancel this for Abigail's work event? Leia spoke to another cousin, her tone low but cutting. So messed up. I know, the cousin said. Noelle's always gotten the short end of the stick. Good on her for speaking out. Their words struck me hard, not with embarrassment, but with vindication. For the first time, the people got it about my family. I wasn't selfish, just over being invisible. Through the whirl of the engagement party around me, with laughter and the warm string lights, I felt something different. Honored, noticed, enough. My parents' and Abigail's absence was not loss, it was freedom. The Seattle air filled my senses with the smell of cedar and grilled salmon, enveloping me in warmth. The next day after our fabulous engagement party, Oliver and I lay on our couch, replaying Grandma's jitterbug steps and giggling over Uncle Tom's awful karaoke. Then my phone rang, Mom's name flashing in warning.
I answered against my better judgment.
You ungrateful little brat, she shrieked, her voice slicing through silence. How could you embarrass Abigail? Only a few people came to her party, and you're to blame. I pulled the phone away, her words hurting as rain on an open wound. Oliver raised an eyebrow, but I shooed him off, taking a deep breath. Mom, I apologize. Abigail's party didn't turn out the way you wanted, but I've been planning ours for months. You knew it conflicted, no excuse. She bit back, family is first, Noelle, but you're too selfish to understand that. Before I could answer, she hung up, leaving only silence in its wake. Seconds afterwards, a text from Abigail buzzed in. Hope you're happy, you ruined my moment. You'll pay for this. I took Oliver, his frown growing thicker, his brown eyes black with worry. She's not serious, is she? I groaned, my gut nodding. With Abigail? I don't know. The next few weeks were uneventful, and I was fool enough to hope the worst was behind us. But one afternoon, a knock at our door destroyed that hope. It was Oliver's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, nervous in our warm living room.
Noelle, may we speak?
Mrs. Smith said, her voice soft but weighted. My stomach dropped as we sat, the scent of my morning coffee still on the air.
Mr. Smith cleared his throat.
We've heard whispers that you've been having an affair with someone besides Oliver. I felt slapped, my breath caught.
What?
That's ridiculous. I'd never. We know, Mrs. Smith said softly, her touch on mine. We believe you, but we felt we had to inform you about what's being said. Anger boiled when I saw the source. It's Abigail, I told her, my voice trembling. She's making threats of revenge for her party. She's lying. Mr. Smith nodded, his face stern. We decided, we'll cut off any gossip that's being heard. Their encouragement warmed me, but Abigail's meanness smoldered like a wildfire. A few days later, Grandma phoned, her usual cheer replaced by concern. Noelle, I've heard about this mess with your parents and Abigail. Isn't it time to make peace? I sighed, feeling the weight of her hope. Grandma had always been my rock, sneaking me art books when Mom dismissed my designs as impractical.
I hated letting her down.
It's not that simple, Grandma, They've hurt me too much. I know, honey, she said, her voice soft. But family's family. Maybe try reaching out. I agreed reluctantly, the sting of her words driving me on. I stood on my parents' porch in their Seattle suburb that night, my heart racing. Abigail answered the door, her eyes flaring as if I'd trespassed on her stage.
So you're here to rub it in?
She sneered, arms folded. I'm coming to make amends, I said, my voice even with her spite.
She stopped me. Right.
You ruined my promotion party. If I'd had it on your day, people would have shown up. I looked to my parents for support, but Mom nodded at Abigail's words, her face hard. She's right, Noelle, you've always been selfish. Dad stood silent, his accountant's gaze fixed on the floor. Something broke inside me, years of neglect crystallizing into clarity. I turned and left, their voices echoing behind me. I'd taped the encounter on my phone, just in case, a hushed habit from decades of being dismissed. I went to see Grandma later, at her comfortable house, the aroma of her baking bread anchoring me. I played the recording, observing her face change from hope to shock, and finally, sadness. Oh, Noelle, she said, grasping my hand, her eyes brimming with tears. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have pushed you.
I didn't know it was this bad.
It's all right, Grandma, I told her, crying.
You just wanted us to be together as a family.
No, she replied firmly, her voice resolute for all her years. Family is love and respect. Oliver and his parents provide that. Don't let anybody shame you for seeking happiness. Her words lodged in my heart, salve to scarring. But the theatrics weren't finished. My phone flashed with angry texts from Mom and Dad. You're a sneaky snitch, Mom wrote, venom dripping from every word. Dad called me disgrace, his text icy and absolute. It stung, like a bruise I couldn't shake, but it also set me free. I was finished running for their sanction, finished being their afterthought. Abigail's anger grew, her falsehoods spreading like fire. At the office, co-workers hushed behind my back about my ineptitude, gossip I knew they spread from her. A string of anonymous social media posts labeled me a cheater, a liar, each one a dig at my character. Then she went too far, calling Oliver to accuse me of being cheating. He cut her down, his tone cold, but I could see the cost it took in his exhausted eyes.
How do we make it stop?
I pleaded with him, defeated, my hands shaking. We didn't need to. Abigail's fixation rebounded. Her colleagues saw her slacking, too distracted scheming against me to get any work done. Talk circulated in Seattle's close-knit marketing world. She'd been let down a peg, the promotion she'd held on to lost. I wasn't blind to the irony, but it wasn't happiness I felt, merely glad that her behavior had repercussions. Planning my wedding was my refuge, a means of rebuilding in the midst of the mess. We selected a beautiful garden setting just outside Seattle, its ivy-covered gazebo ideal for our vows. My bridesmaids, girlfriends who'd weathered the storm with me, were thrilled, assisting with gathering wildflower bouquets. As I was writing invitations, I hesitated over the empty lines for Mom, Dad, and Abigail. Oliver caught up to me, his hand resting lightly on my shoulder.
You okay?
I can't invite them, I told him, tears streaming down.
Not after everything.
He nodded, his voice gentle but firm. Your call, Noelle, I've got you. No to them was like breaking shackles, every empty space a move toward liberty. The day of the wedding came, the Seattle sky clearing to a golden, unprecedented light. Stepping into my veil, tranquility enveloped me, like sunlight filtering through evergreens. Walking down that aisle, I glimpsed Oliver's parents smiling, Grandma dabbing tears, friends applauding.
These were my people, my real family.
As Oliver and I promised to love one another, his hand firm in mine, I knew I'd made the right decision. There was laughter in the air at the reception, the garden thick with music and dancing. My engagement party was more than a party. It was the day I began creating a life where I wasn't an afterthought. As Oliver and I danced under the swaying ivy above us, I breathed softly, I love you.
He grinned, pulling me into him. Love you too, Noelle, always.
In that moment, under the umbrella of love, I knew we'd conquer anything together. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was prepared for whatever life threw at me. The message of this story is that loving yourself more than a family that holds you back isn't betrayal, it's strength. Real family makes you better, not brings you down, and sometimes, letting go is the strongest step to your happiness. Thanks for watching Revenza Tales, where tales of perseverance and victory are brought to life. Smash that like button, comment with your comeback stories, and subscribe for more legendary stories. Share this with friends who need some courage, and I'll catch you in the next story.